Alright guys, today got a bit of a different video for y'all. We're digging through some stuff and kind of going through storage and that and clearing some things out. And I found a couple of toys from my childhood. You've probably seen them in the video hanging out in a couple of the boxes over here. Right there. You can kind of see it sticking up. It's been there in the last couple of videos. We're going to go through exactly what's in those boxes, and some of the things are still pretty cool. And honestly, if you want to continue doing some of these videos, if you like, hey, toys from our childhoods, let me know. Might look into it, doing a couple more videos. But these are some things that are floating around my closet for years. Finally pulling them out, taking a look at them, and you guys get to see them too. That's right. Street hockey shoes. Who remembers street hockey? It's white and black. Does this have the price on it? They're made by Eagle. I don't even know if it's a company anymore. I don't even know where we bought these at. Does anybody remember the show BattleTech growing up? And bought these toys new. I think they were back in like 1990, somewhere between 95 and 97 these came out. There was a series 1 and a series 2. And I mean, we still have everything for these. And honestly, if you've never seen these before, these are probably some of the cooler toys from back in the day. Not sure why those ones are in there because they don't go with it, but it had little missiles that go up top, and you were supposed to actually like flick these out of this little holder. And I remember doing that. Okay, I know what's going on with that now. This might be the first one we're actually missing one of the little things. I don't remember the name of the guy that is actually in this one, but the rotary cannon is actually spring-loaded and fires the little missiles out. These ones you're supposed to actually flick out the back, and that was the Bushwhacker from the Inner Sphere line. I don't remember that guy's name either. That's sitting inside of the Hunchback, and that was your clan side. And again, this one had spring-loaded missiles. Get loaded in, they fire out. And these toys were super cool growing up in that, because the missiles actually shoot out, and if you hit the right parts on these, this guy's standing up, hit the right part, the leg pops off, he falls over. And if I remember right, all of the clan guys, some form of body part falls off of them. And on the Inner Sphere ones, they actually eject out of the top. But that's the Bushwhacker and the Hunchback. And they live in that street hockey box. A couple of pieces in this box I know that go to a different one. And pull those out. This is a box of LA Gear shoes. There's our other Bushwhacker missile. And I don't remember if specifically this this one, which was the Mauler, if I remember correctly. All the Intersphere guys also have helmets on them as well. I don't remember if this is a Series 1 or Series 2 somewhere. I do have the back half of that cockpit. It's probably going to end up in one of these other ones. This one, I mean, he had the big missile, if I remember right, these top 4, the buttons for those, which were located up on the top, shoot all 4 of those out. There was a little knob on the back side, the Gatling action on that, and if you hit the button for that one, this one shoots out. It has a little flame effect on the top, and that was the Mauler. And absolutely, I mean, these toys were cool back in the day, and you know what, they still kind of are. And then you have your Banshee. And I think out of all of them, I know the Banshee is a Series 1, the Hunchback, and that Bushwhacker were also a Series 1. And I'll get into the Series 1, Series 2 differences once we get down to a couple of the other ones. But a Banshee has the single missile on the top that you load in, you push the button, and it fires out. You have the other ones, and they're rubber tipped, because they do come out with some force to hit things and have stuff go flying off. But this was one of the ones that was kind of cool, because when you picked it up off the ground, a little flame on the back is what tilts the front and the back. And this one has the button on the side that when you push it, that back wing comes flying off. And this is one of the few Intersphere ones that instead of the guy ejecting out of it, an actual body part comes off. But this was the Banshee. Again, some really cool toys from childhood in that. And I remember playing with these with my brother a lot. Again, this one, we have an Axeman. These are just little faux slots on those ones. This one I might not have all of the little missiles for, but they do fit into the side. The ejection cockpit, this one, the little flame thing on the bottom, is spring-loaded, and that's what shoots this one out. And if I remember right, this is Adam Steiner. And unfortunately, the cockpit does have a little break on the side on that one. So it's not sitting in there correctly, but when you hit this one, the head actually goes flying out. I'm just not letting them shoot off, mostly because I don't want to have to chase down a couple little plastic pieces. But this was the Series 1 Axeman. And an axe that went in there, and they all stood up on their own. Little axe action. If you spun these, it would hit the thing to shoot the missiles out. But I'm going to leave the top of that one off for a second. Because again, the exact same one. It's just this one happens to be the Series 2. And the Series 2, they just came in a different camo color. Usually the tops were bright orange, at least on the Intersphere ones. But they made a very limited number of these because they only made these toys for 2 years. And like I said, they were super fun to play with in that. Brother and I played with them a lot. But that's the Series 1 and Series 2 Axeman. The Series 2 still have the axe for it. That one has all of the missiles still in its shoebox that it lives inside of. ahead and get these ones out of the way here. And if any of you actually know the show or remember the show, and if you've never seen the show, go find it. It's only like 12 or 13 episodes. It's a horrible cartoon. But also, this was spawned off of a actual board game used to play a lot too by, I believe it was FASA. And it was Battletech. We used to play the tabletop board game. For it as well with a lot of my friends. And that growing up. Still played it actually a little while ago, but this was the Infiltrator, another Innersphere vehicle, the Axeman with the Innersphere. We believe this one is the Sloth. This one had the two little things on the back, so you can make it walk. Infiltrator just had the single missile. The Sloth has two that sit up front. These ones don't actually have anything that pops off of them. They just have cockpits and little guys inside. And for the clan versions on these, this was the only, as far as small like battle suit, so the rest of them are all mechs, but this was the only small battle suit they ever released, was the Toad. These all also came in Series 2 configuration, but we never found them at where we were actually living at. But it's the Toad, again, single missile, and yeah, like I said, these ones don't really have any parts that fly off. They just kind of jump around, shoot missiles. And like I said, check out the cartoon show. It's super short. It's kind of dumb, like most cartoons were from the 90s and everything. Nothing great about it. But we are down to our final box, which is the Series 1 and the Series 2 Thors. And these ones, out of all of them, I think had, as far as the dart shooting goes, I think these ones had the actual best parts on them as far as those go, because darts just drop into the magazine on the top. They are keyed, and then it's just a little trigger you pull on the side for them to shoot out. And they also had little buttons up front that blow their arms off. Again, the Series 2, bright green shell up top, button to launch all of those out. And I think the coolest of all the weapons was actual extending rod. I forgot what this was supposed to actually be. These were also video games. You might know it as Mech Warrior, Mech Assault. Goes by a lot of different games. I mean, it was FASA, that was WizKids, and a bunch of stuff bought this once they went under. But honestly, these just, you know, nostalgia from being a kid, and you know, I saw these sitting out in our shed, and I just thought of, I need to make a video with them. There's the Series 1 and Series 2. Honestly, we only have the 2 or 3 Series 2 guys. There was another one that was supposed to come out, and that was a Vulture. And I remember saving money to buy that, because at the time, when I was a kid, toys were expensive, especially when they were, you know, $20. Back in 1997, $20 was a lot to come by when you were like 10 or 12 years old and it wasn't your birthday. So I was waiting for the Vulture to come out because it was advertised in a couple of magazines that saw it in Toys R Us, saw it in BAX, saw it in a couple of magazines getting advertised that it was supposed to be coming out soon, supposed to be coming out soon, supposed to be coming out soon. It was in there a couple of times and it never came out. Just because we have one of all of the ones that came out except for that one because it just never came out. And I was really bummed out about that because I like the show. The show is what got me into the tabletop game and played that for years, built miniatures, did a lot of other things with that. It was super fun doing it. You know, we're all kind of nerdy in our own way, being it toys, video games, cars, crafts, whatever. We all have our thing. We all have the things we like. We all have the things we dislike. And it's no reason to go after somebody else just because you dislike something that they do. Anyways, we are North Pole Retro. Check us out at northpoleretro.com. We have a couple of new items in the store. We have keychains. They're in about 4 or 5 different colors, about 112 or 14 different designs that you can pick from to get engraved on those. Every purchase helps us make more content for this channel. Also helps us out at a small business. Consoles, modifications, repairs, and we also offer restoration services. Check out our Patreon. That helps support the channel as well. Like, subscribe, share. If you want to see more of these videos, leave a comment down below. I love going through old toys that I got laying around, especially ones that I haven't seen in years. Anyways, thanks for stopping in. Have a good night, and we'll see you in the next one.